A lot of power creep has come up in the last few generations, like the Paradox, Legendaries, and new evolutions given to the old Pokemon, and that leaves a lot of the other Pokemon behind. So I changed the moves, abilities, and the stats of some of my favorite Pokemon to make them more competitively viable, or at the very least usable in a playthrough. MNJTV did this recently, and I wanted to do the same with my favorite Pokemon. Though, the thing that I'll be doing differently is that I won't be adding any stat points to any of the Pokemon for more of a challenge. Pokemon has rarely increased the stats of a Pokemon, and when they have, it doesn't really make the Pokemon much better. The first Pokemon's stats I would change is Gastrodon. Being a two-time world champion, Gastrodon proves to not really need a huge change, though power creep hasn't really been kind to this guy. A little low for a BST, but he and Amoonguss have proved time and time again that BST isn't actually everything. Gastrodon has amazing status moves like Yawn, Rest, and Recover, including supporting moves like Icy Wind and Helping Hand. It also has moves like Curse and Stockpile to set up its defenses. Its ability, Storm Drain, is what really keeps it viable, so I wouldn't change anything about that either. Sticky Hold is also pretty decent, but it's the stats that make it easy to KO by heavy attackers, especially with Megas out in Champions. So, to fix the problem, I added 14 more points to HP, got rid of 43 points in its attack stat because you rarely will even use it, gave it 22 points in defense, 8 in special attack, another 8 in special defense, and then took 9 points away from its terrible speed. It never uses its speed, so there's no point in keeping those 9 points, and you can give it to something else. This makes Gastrodon have an amazing HP stat, a very usable special attack stat, and lets it live more hits with a respectable 90 in each defense stat, which it can raise with Stockpile. This even makes it faster in Trick Room. Gastrodon really never needed changed. I just wanted to make it even better than it already was if it were to get some changes. On the other hand, this next Pokemon needs a serious upgrade to its stats. Kingdra has a respectable 95 in its defenses, but gets undermined by its terrible HP. And for its amazing ability, its speed is actually pretty middling, and its special attack can't really do a lot unless in the rain and maybe with Life Orb. Kingdra has one win, but Wolfie can make any Pokemon good, so I'm not actually that surprised. And it never had a decent placement after, except the Brisbane Regional last year. So to change this, I made 3 different variants. The first is to add 15 points to its HP, take 47 from its attack, 15 more to its special attack, and add 17 to its speed to outspeed most Megas and to speed tie Garchomp. Of Kingdra's 40 learnable TM moves, 30% are physical and 45% are special, meaning the majority of Kingdra's moves are special, gearing it towards more of a special attacker. This makes its speed amazing in rain with Swift Swim, and its special attack stat pretty good for lower powered formats. I kept the defense stats the same because in general, 95 gets the job done pretty well. The second option was to add 5 points to its HP, take 55 away from its attack, take 5 away from each defense stat, and add 35 to its speed, and then add 15 to its special attack to make it very fast without Swift Swim. This gives it other options than just on a rain team. The last option is to make it sort of a mixed attacker, adding 15 to its attack, 20 to its special attack, and then adding 25 to its speed, while taking 30 from both defense stats to make it a glass cannon on the physical and special side, being respectfully fast, especially in the rain. Dracovish hasn't even been seen since 2020, and that was its only placement better than 10th. Dracovish's ability, Strongjaw, powers up Fish's Rend plus Stab and in the rain, making it an offensive threat. But because it is so slow, its item slot is usually taken by Choice Scarf. To change this, I took 10 points out of its defense and put it in special defense, and then took 30 points from its special attack, and then put it in its speed. So then it can outspeed Garchomp and most Megas. This makes it so it's bulkier and hits just as hard while being pretty fast. The ability makes it broken, and with the extra speed boost, this makes Vicious Ren's secondary effect happen a lot more, while freeing up its item slot for more power, or even more speed with Choice Scarf. This next choice includes two Pokemon because the fossils come in a pair and it wouldn't be right to change one without the other. I'll start with Armaldo. His defenses don't really matter with such a poor HP, and his points in special attack are pretty useless. These two have never really been playable in competitive, and I think these fossils are pretty cool. To start, I would add 20 points to its HP stat, keep its attack stat the same since it's 125 is pretty good for an attack stat, and keep its decent usable 100 defense stat. I would add 20 points to its special defense, and lastly remove 10 points to its speed to make him even faster in Trick Room. His ability I would change is Swift Swim to Tough Claws. Tough Claws boosts Armaldo's amazing attack, and it learns multiple contact moves. It would never work as a Swift Swim Pokemon because you can't add enough points without sacrificing bulk, and Armaldo is more defensive heavy than speed. I would also change its rock type to water because it learns multiple water moves that are contact moves, and its pre-evolution is found in water. Most fossils are only rock type because they were revived from a stone, so it's nice to give it something else that doesn't make it so weak. To make up for its poor speed, I'd give it Aqua Jet and Knockoff for more support. I was thinking on U-Turn as a stab and pivoting option, and maybe even Rage Powder, but that could make it a threat just like a Moongus. The stat, ability, and type changes should be enough to make it viable for some competitive play, even at the lower powered formats. Cradily could also use some changes. To start, I took away the rock typing and decided to give it Water Grass or Grass Poison. You decide, I don't really care. I don't really have a preference because numerous dex entries talk about living in the sea, ocean, or shallow waters to catch prey, but others state that it dissolves prey with digestive fluids and acids, so it would fit as a poison type as well. Cradily has very middling stats except for a decent 107 special defense stat, so I thought I would make it bulkier by adding 29 to its HP, 18 to its defense, and 8 to its special defense. Then I got rid of 21 points in its useless attack stats and took 13 away from its speed. This makes it even better in Trick Room. Just because a Pokemon has good stats though does not automatically make it broken or even usable, so to make it a bulky support Pokemon, I gave it Toxic, which is actually weird they took it away from a lot of Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. I would also give it Glare, Wide Guard, Spore, and any powder moves because it's a grass type. The abilities also need changed. I would change Suction Cups and not Storm Drain to either Sticky Hold or Poison Touch to fit its dex entries because that's actually a really good added immunity. The next one is another fossil duo. I think what makes these two so bad isn't the stats entirely, it's the typing I would change. I would change both their types to Pure Water or make Kabutops Water Bug. To start with the stats, Omastar has a mid to bad HP and doesn't even use its physical attack, has good defense and decent special attack, but its special defense is very middling to just pure terrible, and its speed is just as bad. To change its bulk, I gave it 20 points in HP, took 20 out of its attack, 5 out of its defense, and 25 from its already terrible speed. Then I added 10 points to special attack and 20 to its special defense. This makes yet another bulky Trick Room attacker, though I know that Shell Smash is used sometimes, so the second option is to add 10 points to its HP, take 20 points from its attack, another 5 from defense, and then add 15 to its speed to make him good in Swift Swim. I think for the slower version, replace Swift Swim with a new ability, maybe something like Tentacle Lock. Comment down below for new ideas. It's a bad ability name, but basically it's just Arena Trap based on its dex entries. Or give it Sturdy to replace Weak Armor because Weak Armor is somewhat useless, relying on getting hit so you can get a boost. And with the power creep these days, you just hope Omastar can live once, and that's rarely going to happen. For the fast version, keep Swift Swim and give both versions Aqua Jet for a priority option, and Knockoff because that seems logical with its tentacles. I actually think Omastar has a decent move pool to be used to an extent. For the other fossil, it's geared so much to be a fast sweep deeper in Swift Swim. I didn't change anything in its HP and special defense, but I gave 15 in attack, got rid of 30 points in its useless special attack, and gave those to its speed. Now it doesn't have to have Swift Swim to be fast, but it can to outspeed other Pokemon easily. For the ability, I would give it Tough Claws and Sharpness for a damage boost. Since hidden and regular abilities are so easy to get now, it doesn't really matter what ability takes what slot. I gave it some more moves to give it coverage options like Night Slash, Fury Cutter, Razor Shell, Slash, X Scissor, Ice Fang, and Aqua Cutter for stab and boosted by Sharpness and or Tough Claws. This makes Kabutops easy to use, and he can do massive damage to low power threats, if not just OHKO them. Whiscash has one recorded placement 11 years ago, and it wasn't even in the top 10 in that one. It needs some serious help. It has 7 less stat points than Gastrodon, and it has terrible abilities. I got rid of Anticipation and maybe even Hydration and gave it Storm Drain or Water Absorb. For the stats, Whiscash has a good HP, stupid low attack stat, both physical and special, and even lower defenses, and it isn't even in a decent speed stat. You're never getting any Dragon Dances off when your stats are that low. Whiscash just has nothing other than HP that's even over 80, so to help, I gave it 20 points in attack, 7 points in defense, 9 in special defense, and 10 in speed, while taking 46 points from its special attack. To help its middling speed, give it Aqua Jet for some stab priority. His moves are actually like Gastron's, it's just that there are so many better water ground Pokemon, and its stats aren't high enough to outshine Gastrodon, Swampert, Quagsire. Its attack isn't good enough without setup, but have faith. They could make an evolution or a mega evolution, or when Gen 10 comes out, maybe they'll make signature gimmicks like mega evolution and give one to Whiscash. Jolteon's weird because there are just such better electric types, even electric monotypes, and the main thing it should be is a support Pokemon, really. It hasn't been seen since 2014 in VGC, and it has a 4th placement in 2010, but the power level was so much lower back then, I'm not even sure if that makes it decent now. Jolteon's HP is bad, its defense is even worse, and the special defense gets undermined by its poor HP. Amazing speed, but good for lower power levels at this point because there are just so many faster Pokemon. So I gave it 15 points in HP and special attack and 5 in special defense. Jolteon can't compromise any other stat loss, or it'll be too frail or too slow for the megas and fast Pokemon. It doesn't have the worst moveset, Reflect and Light Screen for support, but doesn't have a lot of coverage moves other than Trailblaze for ground types and Dig, though that takes 2 turns. Jolteon has a better special attack than attack stat. At the very least, I would give it Electric Terrain to boost its electric damage output. You could pair this guy with Mega Frostlass, so no Pokemon right now could be completely walled by it, other than the occasional Swampert or Mega Sceptile. Though Mega Swampert has been kind of climbing the ranks, so it probably wouldn't be used that much right now. Alright, we're getting down to the top 3, and of any Pokemon in this list, this guy deserved a Mega out of any Pokemon that exists right now. This guy has 2 recorded placements, both being on the same team and by the same guy. If you haven't guessed it, Flygon would immediately be better with a higher base attack stat or with a higher BST in general. He has the unfortunate pre-Garchomp build, and Garchomp is basically Flygon 2.0, new and improved. Flygon has a usable base speed of 100, but it just doesn't cut it nowadays. Underspeeding Garchomp and tying with a lot of Mega Pokemon, its defenses are middling along with its HP, so I made 2 versions. For the first one, I kept the HP, added 30 points to attack, and gave 20 points to speed, and took 50 points from its special attack to equal out the BST again. This lets Flygon outspeed many fast Pokemon, and lets it hit harder for more powerful Dragon Claws and Earthquakes. The second option was to raise its HP by 10, its defenses by 5 to give it more bulk, give it 20 points in its attack, and 10 in its speed. This still lets Flygon Flygon outspeed many Pokemon while being able to stay on the field longer. For the abilities, I kept Levitate, gave it Compound Eyes, and then Sand Force or Sand Rush. I would choose Sand Rush just for another way of increasing speed with the weather up, and to help it not get walled by Incineroar, you could maybe even give it Defiant. Flygon has a pretty decent move pool: Tailwind for speed control, Rock Slide for flinch chance, Helping Hand, and Alluring Voice for coverage. He even has Dragon Dance, unlike Garchomp, and Breaking Swipe to switch opponents' teammates. Phalanx is in a pretty bad spot because its stats are pretty low, he's a monotype, and there are just so many better fighting types who are stronger and do what he does just way better. But with the limited roster of Pokemon champions, Phalanx and its Mega have a chance. Its HP is terrible, its defense can't carry it, and its special defense is lower than its HP, which is not good. Its attack is usable, but like Flygon, too low for today's power level, and its speed is pretty mediocre, so I gave it 25 points in HP, 20 in attack, and 40 in special defense. Then I got rid of 45 points in its speed and 40 from its special attack. Now he can be good in Trick Room and be bulkier to live more attacks. It would be too much stat drop in defenses if you try and make Phalanx faster. Now, ignore the changes done to base Phalanx and think of the regular BST. I changed the Mega stats so it can then be faster and still a respectful 110 in defense and still have a good attack stat. The original Mega didn't waste any special attack points, but they should have taken some base points away to give it to a better stat. For moves, I would give it Fake Out if it doesn't already have it, Coaching, Taunt, and Sucker Punch for priority. I think Defiant is a good ability on base and Mega Phalanx, but maybe the base form can have some other options like Clear Body, Frisk, Guts, Inner Focus, or Adaptability for a power boost on non-stab moves. Because Phalanx has somewhat of a wide move pool, the last thing I would change is the type. I would change it to Steel based off what it's supposed to be, soldiers with shields and horns for their weapon. I mean, that seems pretty logical, right? Alright, this last Pokemon is a starter, water type, and just got into the spotlight with a new Mega, turning it into a water dragon. If you haven't already guessed the Pokemon yet, it's Feraligatr. This guy's in a weird position, especially with Mega Swampert available in Champions now. Feraligator's base attack is already less than Swampert's, and its Mega compared to Swampert's doesn't actually have very equal defenses, making it easy to take down with a strong Fairy or Dragon move. Plus, both Pokemon get stopped by Intimidate, but Swampert makes up for it with Swift Swim. Water Ground can usually hit every type for neutral damage, but Water Dragon gets completely walled by fairies, and most teams have a Mega Floette or a fairy type. To prove how average this guy is, not one team showed up to NAIC with a Mega Feraligatr or even base Feraligatr. My guess is the stats and the move pool. To start, base Feraligatr has a middling HP, usable but low attack, decent defense, wasted points in special attack, a middling special defense, and weird speed tier. It's way too fast for Trick Room and way too slow for Tailwind teams, so I gave it 10 points in HP, 15 in attack, 7 in special defense, 17 in speed, and took 49 points out of its useless special attack stat. This gives base Feraligatr more speed for Tailwind, more bulk, and higher damage output for Life Orb and Sheer Force. For the Mega, they made a massive 160 of its attack, really good defense, kept the HP and wasted points in its special attack, and then gave 10 points to special defense. I kept the speed the same, gave 5 points in HP, 17 to special defense, and 37 points to speed. Now it's amazing in Tailwind, amazing attack, and it has good bulk just like Swampert. I would keep Dragon Eyes, but would give it a 30% damage increase instead of 20%. The problem with Dragon Eyes is that the only physical dragon move that does spread damage is Breaking Swipe, and that base power is way too low. But that's for every dragon type. Another problem is the normal moves being turned into dragon moves. There's also no physical damaging spread move that Feraligatr can learn, and that's what makes Salamence and Gardevoir and even Swampert so good. They can use or main their special attack to get good spread damage from Aerialate and Pixelate respectively. Feraligatr can only really use Dragon Eyes for Giga Impact and Double Edge, and both have their drawbacks. His move pool is good: Rock Slide, Icy Wind, the Fang moves, Liquidation, and Waterfall, but it only gets the damage boost on Water and Dragon moves. In the future, this guy could get some usage, but for now, it needs a lot of help from its teammates and completely gets overrun by the meta right now. I hope you liked my thoughts in trying to make these Pokemon better and more viable in VGC. Comment down below what your favorite change was. Have a good day or night whenever you're watching this. God bless, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.